This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the cartoon The Angry Beavers. Joel, who was your favorite beaver in The Angry Beavers?
Oh, thank you for clarifying. I mean, I always liked Norb.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. He was always the one that I was like, if I was to be an angry beaver, that's who I wanted to be.
I think it's the little brother in me that's like, oh, it's like you're a little brother out of 3. I'm a little brother out of 2. And I feel like the dynamic is a little different when it's just 2 of you. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I have no way to ever compare that. But I always like Daggett. And,
Okay.
I've also, going back and watching this, I think I have learned that a very solid chunk of my personality comes from the Angry Beavers.
You know, now that I think about it,
It's like, I say these things.
Daggett, it has a lot of similarities with you, Andrew.
But yeah, this comes as a Patreon mega request from our friend Justin. He paid us $5 a month just so we would cover the Angry Beavers, so God bless him. He wants to shout out his YouTube channel, Justin Collects. I was on it once. We talked about action figures from cartoons that don't have action figures that we would like. I don't think he used that wordy of a title, but thank you, Justin. And if you would like to submit your mega request over than a regular request, consider being a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/cartoondd. Let's see you skip it now that we say it at the beginning. Motherfucker. Let's review that theme song.
I always think about that episode of South Park.
We got him.
We got him.
I'm waiting for you to stream it.
Oh!
I said let's review that theme song after I call our listening audience a motherfucker.
Possum face motherfucker.
Possum face motherfucker. Maybe we should do a live action landfill of Soul Man.
I would be happy
with no
that.
context whatsoever. Just do it.
We should.
We
Just
should,
one day.
actually.
Soul Man. People will be like, what?
That's going to be our next Patreon bonus episode. Our review of the movie Soul Man.
All right. Andrew, let's review that theme song.
All right. Then let's hit it. Oh, we did that backwards. Ooh, that felt
I know.
weird.
Isn't that cool?
No, that felt wrong. I always like their theme song. It's always just, I don't know, it's just pleasant, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those theme songs. Hey, if you're in the morning getting your bowl of cereal, you hear that come on, you know it's about to go down. You know it's about to rock because it is a good theme song.
Rock with mild jazz.
It's a very groovy.
It is.
theme song.
I would give it about an 8. I'd give it about an 8.
I was going to give it a 7.
Okay. I think that's the opposite of what we did last week.
I think so too.
So we're staying in a wheelhouse of good themes. Thank God. You remember that one like month and a half? It was nothing but just like, this is all hot garbage.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough when you've got nothing to look forward to in a show.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not
But
even the theme
this
song.
one, I mean, this is obviously this kind of goes without saying, but this is one of the better shows we've covered, and the only reason we're covering it is because somebody paid us to.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds weird to say, but it wasn't some corporate entity. It's a guy I went to high school with who just wanted to support our podcast. But regardless, he did pay us, and he did demand it.
Whores
demand
for
is
money.
A strong word. He asked. Yeah. We are whores for money. Everyone is, in a way.
Yes.
But instead of cocks, we watch cartoons.
You got a job,
still has a C word. Yeah. So it's, what was that movie? It's that movie where the Joseph Gordon-Levitt fakes going to college, and Lewis Black is his dean.
Acceptance?
Acceptance. And he's like, he does that big speech. It's like, everybody is just pimps and whores and pimps and whores. About like how the economy works.
He ain't wrong.
But yeah, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong.
Yep. Nope. Hey, that's why they say prostitution is the oldest profession. All
right, Joel, how did this get made?
Buckle in, Andrew.
I hope this will be a smooth edit.
This is jam-packed with...
I read like one little trivia thing about it, and I was like, of like his, I guess, inspiration for the show, and I was like, what?
All right, so you'll have to hit me with that, but really quick, I just want to get this out of the way. Angry Beavers, it was a Nickelodeon cartoon, aired on June 11th, ended on August 27th of 2006. I'm sorry. It originally aired in April 19th of 1997. Ran all the way up until November 11th, 2003. And then reruns started airing again later on. Okay?
Right.
Had four seasons, 62 episodes, a total of 123 segments. It was created by Mitch Shua.
Yep.
Now, Mitch was around the block.
Yeah.
Before Angry Beavers came on. He had walked on the Ren and Stimpy show, Rocko's Modern Life, Hey Arnold. He walked on Freakazoid. He also walked on the Addams Family television series, and a bunch of other stuff. His story is kind of like a lot of these, creators grew up, loved drawing, loved, creating little comics, went to art college, got a job working for, several different kind of like studios making cartoons. And he was working at Gunther Wall Productions.
Hey, I remember Gunther Wall Productions. We made fun of their name once when we mentioned it.
Yep. It's a very funny name.
It is. Gunther's a funny name. If your name's Gunther, you got a funny name.
You do, and I feel so sorry for you.
Go as
Gunther
Gunt
from Friends?
for short.
Just go as Gunther from
go
Friends.
As Gunt. And you're like, what's up? My name's Gunt, and I'm looking for cunt. And that's how you go to the club and try to have relationships with women. I bet you it'll work. Like, at least one time.
You just find that one desperate lady who's just like, I'm striking out too. Obviously, with that pickup line, you're striking out.
They'll respect your confidence.
Let's help each other out for a night, okay?
You know what, Gun? You can have this cunt. Reluctantly, I will say yes. And you'll be like, booyah.
And that's when he jumps up, freeze frames.
And then like the text where it's like it shows like the text after some of those old school movies where he died 4 years later. It'd be like
he went back home with this he went back home with
on
this
his way out of the club and got hit by a bus.
it was a mediocre performance at best.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Yeah, keep going.
So Mitch was working with Gunther Wall Productions, and it's kind of around the time of 95. Well, Gunther Wall wanted to pitch a new series to Nickelodeon, and they requested 3 ideas for animated series. And one of those ideas was what Mitch had come up with, and that was the early concept of the Angry Beavers. Now, he wasn't in this pitch at all, but he was inspired by the idea of Angry Beavers from his early years in Oklahoma when he was homeless.
Yeah, that's what I read. I was like, what?
And he would often spot beavers in a nearby river. And from there, I heard him say something along the lines of he actually thought beavers were just like kind of a funny creature in nature.
A little bit.
So he decided, it would be pretty funny to just do a show about beavers.
Are beavers like an aggressive creature?
I feel like they're probably territorial, just like any animal.
Okay.
You kind of get into their territory, they're going to attack you because
I just thought it was, he called the show Angry Beavers. I mean, I've only seen beavers from afar. I was like, I don't know if they're aggressive, because some animals are territorial. You get near them, and they're like, get the fuck away from my house. But some animals are just like, we're close, so I'm gonna hurt you, and you're like, why? Like kangaroos, they're not territorial. They're just dicks.
Kangaroos will fuck up your day.
They'll kill your dog.
No, man, you just gotta be like that one dude. Go over there and just post up on them and
square up and hope they don't remember to kick you.
That's one of my favorite videos.
It is one of the greatest videos on the internet, and it's
because that kangaroo had no response. He was so confused when that guy punched.
Just decked him.
The kangaroo just what?
There's a lot of people who are just like, Australia has a bunch of terrifying blah, blah, blah animals. But the day I heard that kangaroos are basically the deer of Australia, I was like, that's the most terrifying shit I've ever heard in my life. Because at the worst, a deer could fuck up your car. But in Australia, you could hit a kangaroo with a car, and if it's not dead, he'll beat the shit out of you.
Was it when my brother went to Australia and he came back, he told me was it the toucan over there?
Yeah.
That's their pigeon. Like, they
are toucans mean?
Well, I don't know if they're mean, but he's like, they're a pest. They're everywhere, to the point where how people would kick pigeons, but get out of here, pigeon. They're doing that with toucans. I'm like, I've never seen a toucan in real life.
My friend went to New Guinea, and she had a guinea pig. She ate one, and I was like, "Oh, did you feel bad?" She goes, "No, those motherfuckers are everywhere in New Guinea. They're
why do you think they call it New Guinea?
Yeah, they are around. It's like they're mouse. So people do not have they're like, the fucking, we got guinea pigs in our house again, honey, or something.
This little pest, get out!
Yeah,
of here,
it's weird how many it's a pet here, but it's a pest. Hell, if you have a guinea pig in, I think, Norway, it is illegal to have just one. You have to get 2. They have to be friends.
Yeah,
kind of sweet in a way.
Well, they pitched the idea. All these ideas to Nickelodeon. There was a network producer, Mary Harrington. She was very intrigued by Angry Beavers. They basically signed up for it, said, yep, I like it. Let's go for it. And really from there, Mitch and his team, they became beaver experts. they wanted to actually incorporate actual like real life beaver mannerisms into the character. By the end of it, Mitch actually said that he thought he was a beaver expert, like he knew everything he could about beavers by the end of the show. They actually would like put in like tail slapping, growing incisors, scent glands, like all the stuff that beavers actually have. Like,
there's like an entire episode about their scent glands.
Yeah, they made sure they actually like incorporated it into the characters, which I kind of love. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. But really from there, the show was very popular, and we can talk about this later, Andrew, because we need to.
Oh,
we
definitely.
Have to.
There's a few things.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the kind of the. You want to talk about the censorship and the challenges now?
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk about all that before we just talk about how cool the show is.
Okay.
But yeah, like one of the reasons it got canceled was because they were constantly. It's so weird to think about a children's cartoon constantly fighting with standards and practices.
Yep. Yeah, and Mitch has actually said that he tends to develop things that are countercultural. He didn't want to create... He wanted these beavers to kind of hate anything popular, like the original hipsters.
Right.
You know? But they hated the standards and practices.
It's one of the most infamous things is that in 1998 they censored the word "shut up."
How did they censor it, Andrew? By just bleeping it out in the episode, which made it 1,000 times worse.
And it was because of Herb Scanlon. I think that's how you say his last name. He was like, I don't like it when children say shut up, which makes me think that Herb, a powerful network president, did not have a lot of control at home, and his kids told him to shut up a lot.
I mean, he's got that money.
He's got that money.
Kids.
His name is Herb. Shut up, Herb. Look, rolls right off the tongue.
I remember, it's a new generation for these young kids, but I remember growing up, shut up was like almost a curse word. You didn't say that.
Well, in the 90s, you could hit your children, so you could not get away with saying a lot. I make fun of my dad in a way, not to say too much about, how I grew up, but he was like, it was a lot easier to raise kids back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, it's really easy to make someone do what you say when you're 3 times bigger than them, and you can backhand whenever you feel like it. Take out the trash. No. Wham!
I feel like a little, discipline, whether that's a spanking, I feel like it has a point in a child's upbringing.
It's
not saying you do it constantly. Maybe you just do it once to show the child.
There's a line you toe. You cannot hit your child as though they are a grown man, which can...
No.
No. And so, some parents back in the 90s would do such a thing. And was it great? No.
I deserved every spanking I got. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like an overreaction. To me, violence against a child is very much an overreaction. But it's also like when a parent tells you what the child did, and I'm like, no, I get why you did it. I just don't agree with the method of what you did, if that makes sense. Because I'm not going to sit here, nobody's figured out parenting. Because if we figured out parenting, everybody would parent their kids the same way. And sometimes, sometimes you can only use your words so much.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah.
sometimes when Link is really freaking out, I just do the bear hug. I just kind of hold him there, and I'm like, "We're gonna calm down." He'll just do really loud screams, and then he's back to normal. But like I don't squeeze the life out of him, but I just kind of hold him there until he gets it all out. Also, he can only say like a 3-word sentence. So what the hell is he gonna really tell me to talk about his problems?
I think there needs to be enough feel in a child to the point where, like, if your mom says, "Don't make me tell dad when he gets home," there needs to be that enough feel to where you can keep them in line.
That is such a
sense.
childless adult thing to say.
Dude, I'm thinking about how I grew up.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
that's
that's
why I know. That's just funny. But yeah, they had a lot of stuff that was they didn't there was they didn't like that a blimp crashed into an audience of people, or a Zamboni supposedly killing another crowd of people.
It makes all the sense once you find out, like, that Mitch, he walked on like Ren and Stimpy, Freakazoid, Rocco's Modern Life.
Well, it's like
Hey
those
Arnold.
are the shows that probably they were the reason that they're like, we got to tighten up our belt. I mean, it took them how many seasons to figure out the Chokey Chicken and Rocco's Modern Life? And that's like one dick joke in Rocco's Modern Life. And it took them, the last season, they finally caught it and made them change it to the Chewy Chicken. And it's like, so they were probably like, we cannot be that embarrassed again. Because it's not, Ren and Stimpy was always just kind of like a kid vulgar show. So it's like, okay, they kind of press it no matter what. But it's like Rocco's Modern Life. I can't tell you who the creator is right off the top of my dome, but he's like, yeah, I wanted to fit as many dick jokes as I could into a children's television program. Which, God bless him. I love Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah. Always makes me think of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. What are standards and practices?
Standards and practices? Well, I'm glad you asked me, Wad.
Another show that dealt a lot with standards and practices. I got annoyed with them.
We covered the movie.
We did.
Some time ago.
But yeah, this show was always trying to push the envelope. They was always trying to get away with kind of whatever they could. And, late 90s, early 2000s, standards and practices started really trying to crack down on stuff.
Yeah.
But there were constant battles, honestly, with standards and practices led to the show's cancellation.
Which, I wish that they were able to make the last final episode, but I understand why they didn't. So it was going to be titled Bye Bye Beavers. We're just going to talk about it before we talk about the show.
Let's go.
It's going to be called Bye Bye Beavers, and it was basically just going to be a bottle episode of Daggett and Norbit's just discussing how they got canceled. They're not real, and how the network is just going to be able to collect money by doing reruns, and they're never going to have a show again.
Yeah.
And you can actually, the voice lines are recorded, and there is an animatic that you can watch on YouTube. But I always thought that was just a fucking phenomenal move on their part.
Yeah, I think, like, to me, that would have been the perfect way that this team, who was constantly just pissing off the execs at Nickelodeon, could have kind of went off in a blaze of glory.
Right.
But they didn't let it go through.
Yeah, it was also it was super expensive. And you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the animation, like, even for the 90s, I was like, this is expensive.
Yeah, I actually read that most every episode was going over budget.
It shows.
And it didn't help that basically they was always getting like standards and practices who
so
come back and
you're
be like,
annoying
nope,
to the
can't-
network and expensive. That's two things that
Nope,
you
you
do
can't put
not
that
want
in.
to be.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it lasted 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I mean, it did super well. I mean, you look at the Nielsen numbers, people were constantly watching it.
I love this show. This show was one of those things like, look, having two older brothers, they would constantly make fun of me for watching like kids' cartoons because, you know, we only had one TV in the house.
Right.
So like they didn't want to watch their kid, like a kid cartoon. They wanted to watch their, you know, preteen, teenage, whatever, who's it, what's it shows, right? So they would constantly make fun of me for watching cartoons, but this was like one of those ones where they was just like, it's pretty good. I'm gonna keep watching this.
Nice. Well, I guess we can move over to the voice cast now.
Yeah, not too much more with the creation. So hit us.
All right.
Hit me with your best shot.
So the voice cast for the Angry Beavers are Richard Stephen Horvitz is Daggett Doofus Beaver. Nick Bakay is Norbert Foster Beaver. There are a bunch of other ones too. I'm just going to do them.
A lot of characters.
John Gary is Barry the Beaver.
Nice.
Greg Berger is Bill Licking.
All right.
I watched the episode with him moments before we actually started the episode. Edward
nice.
Winter is scientist number 1.
Winter is coming.
Cynthia Mann is Tree Flower. And finally, Scott Well is Big Rabbit.
Hey, Frylock, where did we get this well? Where the hell did we get this well?
Did we get this well? Meat one. Oh, Frylock.
Enough distractions.
For their other works, we have Richard Stephen Horvitz is Alpha 9 in the Power Rangers.
Cool. Don't know where Power Rangers Alpha 9 comes from.
He's the all of them. He's the ay. He's the robot.
Oh, that was Alpha. That's right.
Yeah.
See, that just goes to show you how much I remember about the Power Rangers. I thought that was like a Power Ranger.
Nick Bakay is Salem in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Awesome.
John Gary is a car guy in the series called Mystic Pizza.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Greg Berger is Grimlock in the video game Transformers Devastation.
Nice.
Edward Winter is Gibhart in Porky's 2 the next day. Or for you MASH fans, Colonel Samuel Flagg. Cynthia Mann is Jasmine in the TV series Friends.
Oh.
Scott Wheel is a producer on a short called The Fountain. And there you go.
Okay.
There, he didn't really have a lot of acting. I guess Big Rabbit didn't open up a lot of doors. So here's a little fun fact about my childhood. I didn't know about Jinx Pinch Poke You Owe Me a Coke until I was about 18 years old. But because of this show, I did know about Jinx. But if you say something in Angry Beavers, like in the Angry Beavers, if you got jinxed, you would get a woogie pinch, which is where you grab like a big fold of skin and pull it as hard as you can. And guess what me and my brother did to each other? Because we both like this show, which is rare because me and my brother, as younger brother, we did not get along. We were 2 years. So really what it is when you have a two brother system, it's you just beat the shit out of each other until one day in your 20s, you're like, this guy's all right. That's basically it.
He's basically me.
Yeah.
Just with different interests.
Yeah, it's like, he's basically me, but he's different. But he's all right.
Yeah.
Another thing, one of my favorite jokes is when the scientists show up. I actually watched one of the episodes beforehand. Like it was Muscular Beaver, which is like my favorite ongoing series of Angry Beavers. Is anytime Daggett gets to dress up as Muscular Beaver, whoosh. But the scientists show up. He's like, we're scientists. See, white jackets. And then I know later they come back as environmental scientists, and they like, it's an episode late. It's like way later in the series. They go, we're environmental scientists. See, green jackets. It's just like, that's all they need to prove that they're scientists.
Hey, good enough for me.
It reminds me of it's a very offhanded joke in Futurama where Zoidberg is just like, Fry, do you think my fancy degree, or do you think all this equipment and my skills make me a doctor? No, this fancy coat does. But yeah, there are so many reoccurring characters in Angry Beavers, and just like,
out of what, 106 or 123 segments? Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of reoccurring characters.
But they're all great, like the Mexican wrestler El Guapo. Big Bunny is Big Bunny has a great episode where he's their bodyguard. And he just keeps freaking out, and because he's so large, he hurts them every time. He's like, "Get down!"
I remember that episode.
Barry the Bear, who's based off of Barry White, who has 2 musical numbers, and the guy who voices Barry the Bear does an incredible job. John Gary. He does an incredible job of sounding exactly like Barry White.
Fantastic.
There was a movie that they tried to talk about, but never really got anywhere out of the development stage. It was, I don't know, I'm guessing because they kept pissing off standards and practicing, got canceled. Mitch Schuler has also said that the Pink Panther show of 1969, the Flintstones, and the Bullwinkle show are all primary influences for the Angry Beavers. I always loved how and like I think that's another reason I like the show, and I liked going back and visiting it, because it really did, like, I'm like, this was what having an older brother is like. Especially because Norbert is way cooler and everyone likes him more than Daggett. And Daggett's like more neurotic. And one thing that he cannot handle is not being liked, but he does not know how to be liked. Which I feel like is a personality trait I had when I was watching this show. So I really...
You just really latched on to this.
I really
character as a
locked
kid.
in when it came to Daggett, and I think it held me back a bit.
Did you want to be a beaver as a kid?
I loved their dam, and I also loved how creative everything around the dam was. Like, what was used to make it a home, like just various shit that like. The world build, like, not really even the world building, just how their dam looked on the inside. And you're like,
it was cool.
Or like hell, even Daggett's pajamas. He has little footy pajamas, but right at the butt patch for his tail is an oven mitt. I'm like, that's really creative, and it's just really good design. Everything had really good design. Animation was solid. Every episode is I can't think of a single miss. Also, this show taught me to try flavorless oatmeal with hot sauce, and I still eat it to this day.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's a really good post-workout meal because you get nothing but protein. Like, you get nothing but, like, a good kind of carbs and protein. And because it doesn't have any other additives, you don't have to worry about sugar. So, and the hot sauce just really gets your circulation going.
Good old. Wait, what kind of hot sauce we talking?
I usually use a pretty basic hot sauce. I don't go crazy.
Like Tabasco, Texas Pete.
I do a Texas Pete. Sometimes a Texas Pete extra hot. Like I'm not doing hot wings.
I like
so
Texas
you don't have
Pete.
to like church it up a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. The one that has the wooden lid.
Oh, Cholula.
Cholula. Yeah, Cholula is really good on raw oatmeal.
Oh, man, it is.
So last but not least, before we move into your new reoccurring segment, the Moose telephone that they have is it's basically Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle. No, it's Bullwinkle. Rocky was a flying squirrel. Sorry.
There was a lot of they're dynamic between each other. There was a lot of inspiration between Rocky and Bullwinkle for their kind of relationship and how they behaved.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
And maybe like the whole overall like format of the show.
Another good episode is when one of the scientists turns into a beaver.
Oh.
And like when he does turn into a beaver, he has this first thing he goes, "I'm a freak," but he also has this like super detailed, like gross hand that keeps trying to strangle him. But like when he builds a dam, he builds like the Hoover Dam.
That's funny.
And yeah, there's like so many like beaver traditions that are like in the show that like all beavers love horror movies.
Did not know that about beavers.
There's another, what was it? They all love Dr. Kawatiki. I think that's how that's said. And anyway, he's voiced by William Shatner, but he's the B-movie horror movie star. They have screams for when they're in agony. You know, just like all these weird traditions that they have and that you just learn throughout the show that like all beavers do this.
Yeah. This show is such a show of like love, care, and passion.
Yeah.
Like
to fight with standards and practices, you have to be passionate because I imagine those people are super annoying.
It's just like, it's like in The Office, how no matter who it is, everyone hates HR.
Yeah, everyone hates HR.
It is, working as many years as I have in like a big corporation, I totally get it now. HR is the absolute worst.
Oh yeah, same. Also, Stacy and Chelsea, Norbert Daggett's little sisters, which are the reason they get kicked out of the house in the first place, are voiced by Mitch Schuler's real life daughter. So that's kind of cute. Anywho, Joel, it is time to move to your new reoccurring segment, reviews that are angry and reviews that munch on wood.
Ooh, there we go.
I don't think that was good. I don't think that was good at all.
I said there we go, Andrew.
Okay. You didn't say good job. That's true.
I was trying to give you a pass, not call you out on it.
That's fine. No,
Andrew, you've done better before in the past. I'm going to need you to do better next time, okay?
I think with next week's episode, because we already have another mega request, I think I got something that'll work. I hope.
All right.
But I don't know until I actually say it out loud. Ooh. I have a whole week to think about it, really.
So this is sitting at a 7.2 out of 10 out of 16,000 ratings.
Wow, I also thought that would be more. Well, 16K.
I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's understandable for this because I feel like this show is kind of more of a cult following show.
Yeah, that's true.
Could not find a 1-star review.
That
Dude, I couldn't
also
even
makes
find
sense.
anything under an 8. The 8 was the lowest actually, like, you know, typed up review. So this is a 10 out of 10 titled, "For me, this was the best show on Nickelodeon. There has been some Nickelodeon shows I've liked and some I haven't. The Angry Beavers I love. It is really fresh, funny, and likable, and also somewhat cute. The animation was excellent with lovely colors and backgrounds, and the characters were always well drawn. The music was also wonderful. I love the theme tune, especially while the writing was deliciously witty and very funny, and the stories charming and likable. I even like the titles to the episodes. A vast majority of them were very original and funny. The characters were very engaging with unique personalities, Norbert in particular, while the voice acting was top-notch. Overall, a great show and gets my vote as Nickelodeon's best. 10 out of 10, Bethany Cox."
Nice.
She loved it so much, she slapped her name onto it.
That's true. With a last name like Cox, put that for everybody to see. You know,
I know.
That's just opening you up
just,
to be made fun of.
You're just opening up that floodgate.
But,
poor Bethany. I'm sure you heard it all in high school.
Oh, yeah. High school was probably rough for her.
Yeah.
I believe that wraps up the Angry Beavers. Joel, closing thoughts? If you have Paramount Plus, you can watch it.
Watch it.
No trouble whatsoever.
Watch it. It's a fantastic show. It's definitely one of those few shows that we talk about where I'm like, if you haven't seen it, give it a shot. It's great. It's fantastic. Yours?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would really want to see is if, you know how they used to do those fan animation collabs? Somebody should do that with Bye Bye Beaver. Because it's already all recorded, so
would be
and it's on
awesome.
the internet, so why not do that? But that would be cool. But that
would be cool.
Basically all I have. I'm going to just throw that out in the ether. Maybe nobody had that idea. But that wraps up the Angry Beavers. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have the $5 tier that gets you bonus episodes, extended audio episodes, stickers and pins mailed to your door eventually. We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can buy a shirt that will get to you in probably a more timely manner than your Patreon swag. I'll tell you that much. Look, the Patreon is mailed by me.
He's a busy man.
I'm a busy man. It's hard to go to the post office, and until ships.com sponsors us, I'm not fucking using them. We have a Twitter handle, CartoonDT. We have a Blue Sky that's also CartoonDD, plus like bluesky.social. I don't know. I don't think Blue Sky is going to catch on personally. We're Cartoon Dumpster Dive everywhere else. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice. Reviews on Apple Podcast always help us out. And I like the question answering on Spotify. So, try to answer them more. Anyway, muscular Cartoon Dumpster Dive. Whoosh. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
Why is this so fast?
My playback speed.
This has been a Lugho podcast.